Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Om Agyantimirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 verse number 29. आश्चर्यवत् पश्यति कश्चित् एनम् आश्चर्यवत् वदति तथैव च अन्यः आश्चर्यवत् च एनम् अन्यः शृणोति श्रुत्वा अपि एनं वेद न च एव कश्चित्. Some look upon the soul as amazing, some speak of him as amazing, and some hear of him as amazing. Others, however, even after hearing about him, cannot understand him at all. So this knowledge of the soul that Krishna is giving in this chapter, in the last few verses, is not something easy to understand. The knowledge of the soul is not something that we can attain on our own. Scientists have been trying to understand the origin of life for such a long time. How does life manifest? What makes each and every cell within the body work in such great coordination together? This is very baffling for the scientists as well. But on their own, all the scientists, after putting billions and billions of hours in research and billions and trillions of dollars, all the scientific labs across the world have not been able to understand what is the origin of life. So the subject matter of the soul cannot be understood without the mercy of the Supreme Lord. And this is what Krishna is introducing in Bhagavad Gita, was not known before this. So, as Arjun is hearing about the soul, he is certainly something amazing for him. And Krishna says it is indeed a matter of wonder that even after receiving this knowledge, your wisdom has not been awakened. Your doubt is therefore appropriate. That's why in this verse he says that some look upon the soul as amazing. It is achintya, inconceivable. Srila Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ji says in his commentary, the fact that the atomic soul is within the body of a gigantic animal, in the body of a gigantic banyan tree, and also in the microbic germs, millions and billions of which occupy only an inch of space, is certainly very amazing. With our limited intelligence, with our limited intellectual capabilities, it is not easy to understand that which is beyond our perception. But if someone hears about it sincerely, he will certainly find it to be a very amazing truth, that this small little particle, spiritual particle, which is so subtle that it cannot be seen, it is equivalent to 1/10,000th part of the tip of a hair, something so small, how does it power our entire body, and not just our, but of each and every living entity. So men look at the soul proper as wonderful either by constitution or by description. And we can only understand if someone explains to us, if someone speaks about it. But it is not easy to find someone who actually understands this subject matter. Srila Prabhupada ji in his commentary further states that it is very difficult to find a man who perfectly understands the position of the super soul, the atomic soul, their respective functions and relationships, and all other major and minor details. And it is still more difficult to find a man who has actually derived full benefit from the knowledge of the soul and who is able to describe the position of the soul in different aspects. But the soul is such an intriguing subject matter that even if we find someone who is realized, who is able to explain these in a very clear manner, but still Krishna is saying that even after hearing about the soul, there are many who cannot understand it at all. And one reason why we cannot understand is because we have been conditioned for many, many millions of lifetimes. It is actually a simple subject to understand, but we are so complicated ourselves that we are not able to understand such a simple thing. Shri Swami Maharaj Prabhupada used to say that spiritual life is simple for those who are simple minded, simple hearted, but those who are very complicated, it is very difficult for them to understand. Therefore, the Guru, the spiritual teachers make a great effort in trying to explain these very esoteric subject matters. Srila Bhakti Siddhant Saraswati Thakur, the founder of Gaudiya Mutt, he said that it takes 4,000 gallons of blood of a spiritual teacher to change one person's inclination. What that means is that the pravritti or the vritti, the intrinsic material nature of us prevents us from understanding spiritual subject matters. Our senses are so deluded by various forms of sense gratification, and because of the sense enjoyment, the senses have become so gross that it is difficult for them, especially our mind and intellect, to understand what soul is. It can actually only be understood once we have accumulated some sukriti or some pious activities over certain lifetimes. Otherwise, so many people pick up Bhagavad Gita, try to understand, but they're not able to understand. Why? Because there is not enough sukriti. Or it can be understood by the causeless mercy, a hetuki kripa of a great devotee. Shri Krishna also states in the 3rd verse of the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschit yatati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kaschit mam veti tattvataha. Out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection, and of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. So the fact that you are making an endeavor to understand Bhagavad Gita is not something trivial. You are very fortunate that you are taking some time from your day, every single day, to read and understand and hear about Srimad Bhagavad Gita. This is a great mercy of the Lord. It is only by His mercy that we have this knowledge available and we are getting an opportunity to hear and talk about Bhagavad Gita. In the past, this knowledge was not that readily available. You may have heard the story of Nachiketa, who was the son of a famous person called Vajshravas. Vajshravas performed a great sacrifice, at the end of which he announced that he will give away all his possessions, including a large herd of cows, to the teachers and saints. His son Nachiketa, who was only a young little boy, standing next to him, asked his father, "To whom are you going to give me in charity?" Now, the father, of course, did not want to give him away in charity. He was only talking of his other possessions. But Nachiketa said, "I am also your possession. So whom are you going to give me in charity to?" When he kept pestering his father over and over again, his father in anger said, "Oh, I give you to Yam, the god of death." But even though Vajshravas did not mean this, Nachiketa decided to follow the order of his father, and he went to the abode of Yamraj, the king of death. When he reached there, he found that Yamraj was not at his home. So for 3 days and night, this young boy kept waiting without food, water, or even without sleeping at the doorstep of Yamraj. Finally, when Yamraj returned and he saw Nachiketa, he greeted him with respect and asked him why he was there. And when Nachiketa narrated the whole thing, Yamraj was very overwhelmed by his sincerity, and he said, "Because you had to wait 3 days for me, I give you 3 boons." So Nachiketa the first boon that he asked was that, "Please grant welfare of my father." Yamraj granted that. Then he said that by which process people in this world who are suffering from sorrow, old age and disease can come to heaven. So Yamraj told him about a sacrifice by performing which someone can come to heaven. Now mark here, Nachiketa only asked how to come to heaven. He did not ask how to become free from the cycle of birth and death, because even heaven is within this material world. So this thing Yamraj gave easily, and he told about a sacrifice which was actually later on called by the name of Nachiketa only. By performing this sacrifice, one can attain to heavenly planets. Then what was the third boon that Nachiketa asked for? He asked him, "My dear sir, tell me what happens to a man after death. I would like to understand this truth." When Yamraj heard this question, he had not expected him. And he tried to divert Nachiketa by telling him about other pleasantries that he can ask for, but Nachiketa was firm. Yamraj tried and tried to divert his attention with a lot of other attractive things, but Nachiketa declined all these worldly pleasures. So see, when it came to understanding about the soul, Yamraj did not give that knowledge easily to Nachiketa. Only after he was convinced that Nachiketa has renounced all worldly pleasures and rejected the path of enjoyment, that only is when he gave him the knowledge of Atma, or the soul. This story is narrated in Kat Upanishad, and there it states, and it's a verse that Shri Gurudev quotes in his commentary. It states in Kat Upanishad that the opportunity to hear instructions about the science of the self is very rare. Even after hearing them, most cannot realize the instructions, because a master who is self-realized is very rare. If by great fortune such a teacher is available, it is rare to find students who are able to understand this topic. For this reason, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has instructed everyone in this present age of Kali Yuga to perform the congregational chanting of the holy names of Sri Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Because even if If even a faithless person who chants the name of Sri Hari while they are talking, walking, sitting, standing, eating, drinking, crying, laughing, or in any other way, they will still benefit from it. Gradually, they will attain the association of pure devotees. By such association, they can even attain pure love of the Lord. As a secondary result, they easily attain knowledge on the signs of the soul. These names of the Lord are so sweet, and when one starts relishing the sweetness of these holy names, one can easily become free from the cycle of birth and death. But even if one who chants the holy name of the Lord is immediately freed from the reactions of unlimited sins, even if he chants indirectly, jokingly, or for musical entertainment, or even neglectfully. This is accepted by all learned scholars of the scriptures. So there is no harm and no loss in chanting the holy name. By chanting the holy names, our consciousness becomes clearer, and as our conscious becomes clearer and purified, we are able to understand this transcendental knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. Hare Krishna, Radhe Radhe, have a very blessed day.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama.